So the next speaker is going to give a talk on smart and sustainable cities. This topic is of particular interest to those who are involved in research, policy making, planning and design team to understand the issues related to environment, urbanization and technological development, which is an urgent need and opportunity to rethink how we construct and manage our cities. Our speaker is the CEO and Managing Director of UDP International and Adjunct Associate Professor for the School of Architecture, the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Please join hands with me in welcoming Dr. Sujata Govada.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I thank SRM for giving me this opportunity to speak at ICON Best 2021 conference. It is my great privilege on this occasion to share my experience as well as some of my thoughts on smart and sustainable cities. Urbanization and globalization have made our world increasingly interconnected. The next few decades will see an unprecedented urban growth in the developing world, particularly in Asia. And by 2030, the towns and cities in the developing world will make up 81% of urban population. As this occurs, megacities are set to grow. 14 of the world's 28 megacities are in Asia, and more to come. Asia's overall urbanization rate is projected to be 64% by 2050. With COVID-19, we've seen a dramatic loss of human life worldwide, with a number of active cases in almost all countries increasing. Smaller countries like Taiwan and New Zealand have done better to control the virus, whereas larger countries like US and India had to face more challenges. Overall, we lost about over 2 million population. There's been an increase in unemployment as a result of all the lockdowns, but the vulnerable population are suffering the most. Majority of the countries are in recession, as shown here. There's been a devastating social and economic disruption, but also unprecedented challenges on public health systems, as shown here with the US unable to manage with the overflowing numbers of patients coming to hospitals. Also, unprecedented challenges in food safety and security, not only in the world, but also more in Asia and Africa. Air travel has plummeted, where 80% of travel has come down, but we've seen a flip side to it with the lockdowns, that the car travel has cut down. As a result, sustainable mobility solutions have emerged with walking and cycling, in some countries more than others. And the pollution levels have actually dropped significantly, improving the environment dramatically, as is shown here, with places like Delhi having a 60% reduction in pollution levels. Another thing that's impacted is the work disruption. We've been able to shift almost overnight to remote working and communicate virtually for most of us, not the labor people who work in, the labor farms, etc. So the need for travel has been cut down significantly as well. I also want to take this time to introduce the Institute for Sustainable Urbanization, which is a think tank that I set up in 2014 to find innovative and effective ways to ensure more walkable, livable, affordable, smart, and sustainable cities and communities. ISU has undertaken several events and activities over the years, like the Livable Cities event with Yan Gell in Hong Kong and the Mumbai workshop as part of Municipalica. We've also undertaken local initiatives such as the Smart Cultural Precinct, with the three buildings shown here forming the cultural triangle as their core. We've engaged the local community, working with YWCA, creating placemaking events, holding workshops and forums, developed a map that the community can use, as well as a master plan for streetscape improvements with shared streets and pedestrian streets. We'd like to create a walkable cultural precinct using the business improvement district concept to create a community benefit zone and also develop an app so the not only the three buildings but also the area in between is connected digitally to begin with. ISU, working together with UDP International, has also undertaken smart city research. Several of these publications by Springer have a Hong Kong section in them. We've developed the Smart and Sustainable City Framework with a focus on people, place, and planet, with technology as an enabler and spirituality and consciousness as a basic foundation. Smart thinking, good design, and planning are important to create smart and sustainable cities and communities so that we can have more human scale developments, promoting healthy lifestyle for our social, psychological well-being, and also learn to reduce wastage and consumption by setting a progressive baseline and build resiliency within. Smart and sustainable living, using promoting affordable housing and a healthy, livable environment for an improved quality of life, conserving both our built and natural heritage for our social well-being, and promoting environmental sustainability and implementing green and sustainable designs, as well as environmental stewardship, encouraging waste management and recycling, as the example shown here from Copenhagen as part of smart and sustainable environment. And then reclaiming our streets, promoting more NMT, walking and biking, as well as transit and pedestrian-oriented development with integrated mixed-use development for smart and sustainable mobility. Infrastructure provision for efficient delivery and management for smart infrastructure, as well as smart and sustainable governance with e-governance, transparency and inclusiveness, and promoting community education, awareness, and participation. Smart and sustainable economy with not only national and global interconnectedness, but also increasing productivity at a regional and local level, using GBA as an example here, which would become one of the leading regions in the next few years. Also, creating employment opportunities with innovation and entrepreneurship and promoting startup culture so that we have a sustainable marketplace. I'd like to take a few minutes to share our experience shaping better cities. UDP International is actually an award winning global practice based in Hong Kong since 1994 with representative offices in San Francisco and Hyderabad. Innovative by design, our mission is to integrate socially and environmentally sustainable design to shape resilient cities using a collaborative placemaking approach with a focus on people, place, and planet. We worked on diverse scales and diverse contexts in Hong Kong, China, Philippines, US, and India. This is the central harborfront we worked on for in Hong Kong, which was well received by the people. Also, the Graham Street market preservation, promoting more sensitive urban regeneration, and adaptive reuse of the police marriage quarters, which has been implemented by other operators who came in later. We've also worked on strategic research studies, developing 10 principles for the Urban Land Institute, both in Hong Kong as well as in Manila, and working on the Clark Green City Master Plan in the Philippines, promoting smart and sustainable development, which is a lot of open space, walkable and transit oriented. Also, creating the Naya Dharavi master plan as a win win solution, not only to the community, but also MMRDA and the public and private sector as well in Mumbai, India, but also working on an IT master plan in India, Gurgaon, which is being implemented, as well as the Amaravati urban design and architectural guidelines, which could be useful for existing as well as new cities in India and beyond, focusing on the waterfront, urban integration, transit and pedestrian oriented development, but creating walkable promenades, pleasant open spaces with pedestrian priority on the streets with proper street level interface and landscape street environment. India needs to be commended on the smart city mission, and the top 10 cities perhaps could be assessed and developed further to their full potential to truly become happy and sustainable cities, paving the way for India's future. What can we learn from our COVID 19 experience? We know that cities are in a race to develop, but maybe it's a time to pause and rethink. We need to address many challenges, especially the urban inequality that's in urban areas, but also cities should form networks and share and learn from their experiences and rethink the way we develop our cities. Maybe we need to have a better urban and rural balance and also create more walkable neighborhoods within our cities closer to nature so that we can have a better quality of life and also create better environment for future generations. So we need to rethink and reflect, not only at a city level, a community level, but also at a personal level. Using the smart city and sustainable city framework, focusing on people, place, and planet, and understanding that it's based on spirituality and consciousness, we could begin to behave better, make better choices in our life, maybe get into more urban farming, travel less, use walking and biking more, and also be happy with both this virtual and in person experience we were able to share with COVID 19 so that we leave a planet that is better not only for our generations but future generations by creating smart and sustainable cities with a focus on people, place, and planet. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Sujata S. Govada, for your insightful presentation on sustainable and smart cities.
Welcome to the course Color Psychology. The first module, The Background of Color, will give you an overview of multiple perceptions in color. We will learn about the scientific background.
I have scientific proof that white light is composed of 7 component colors.
Understand basics of color theory. Take inspirations from colors in nature.
Context matters, you know.
Teleport to different time zones to get historical perspectives of color.
Is Greek architecture devoid of colour? Isn't it completely white?
And finally, dig deep into the human mind to get psychological perspectives of color. We will then go on to explore color in various spatial typologies of architecture and interiors. A transition from theory to practice would happen in the last module on practice and application of color. The journey would be immersive with fun quizzes and activities along the way. Join us in this colorful, fun-filled journey.
Hey!